Hey guys, this is Legendremain, and I'm about to do a elite draft. Not really because I want the slightly more yellow shard bound invoker, but mostly because I have the time and the tickets, so why not? So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, it's actually a pretty cool pack. I'm probably just gonna take a shot on Splicer because it's not really much of just not really much of an argument here for anything else. I like Leyline Golem. Flash Fiend's kind of cool, but it's also very Necrium. Card is unavoidably Necrium, so I'll take a Splicer. Okay, I can't force Unbreak yet, but there is a Bright Tusk Sower, so I'll take that. It is actually the best card in the pack, so I don't feel bad. Shit. Okay. This is a pretty bad pack, but I'll take the Deepwood Boar Rider because it's also leaves me open to Unbreak, and the other cards are bad enough where I don't care that bad. Okay, well, in my defense, I'm going to take the Rift Flasher here. In my defense, it is probably one of the worst cards in the entire format, and the other two Alloying cards are in a vacuum playable. But it's between what Metamind Operator, Countermeasure, or Rift Flasher, and I absolutely despise Experience in this format, and Unbreak is really good. So I'll take one dead card versus one dead deck. Okay, well, I guess I'll take the Verdant Sphere. Means life, right? Okay, well, if I'm going to take a Darkstone Acer, I would have to do it early. But I'm not going to because there are actual cards in the pack, so I'm not going to go Dark Forest. I really actually hate going Dark Forest in Umbric because the cards are too good. It's nice in Esperion because your cards are awful, so the Dark Forest actually make your deck better by virtue of comboing with each other. That is not necessary in Umbric, and often detrimental when you're drawing small like 2/4s and 4/2s. That being said, it's between Blizzard Shaman and Swampmouse Agent, and I just realized I have a Shroudthorn Splicer. Huh. Nope, still not doing it. So it's between the Blizzard Shaman and Swampmouse Agent. I don't know. The first one of each of these are really good. Probably going to lean towards the Ancient. I don't actually know if there's a correct pick between those two. They're both very good, but I have a Rift Flasher, so I guess that's a nod towards Blizzard Shaman, but it's not a big enough nod. Okay, so we can rewind this and see how Dark Forge deck could have looked, because here's a Dark Witch Shambler, but again, I would have to be picking it over either Fnatic Ambusher or Borean Stormweaver, so that wouldn't happen in the universe. It is actually really close between Borean Stormweaver and Fnatic Ambusher, and since I took the large dumb creature the first time, I'm actually going to lean towards taking Stormweaver this time. I would take it in most situations, but since I already have a 7/7, I'm more inclined to take the high utility creature with a nice endgame. And that's not saying that Fnatic Ambusher is not also a late game, but Stormweaver does turn into a 16/20. I guess I'll take a Twin Strength. There's nothing wrong with Razortooth Stalker. Well, there is something wrong with it. I generally tend to play towards defensive late gaming, and Stalker is so terrible in the defense. And I don't have enough removal spells currently anyway to really make it shine. And also a 6/7, which is usually, this was really good in previous formats because the 6/7 is actually like really difficult to deal with, but since Umbric is very popular right now, and they have like infinite 7-power creatures, it's not nearly as snowbally as it used to be. Yeah, I'll take a Scene Sentinel. And okay, so it's between Rimehorn Charger and Flame Fury Shaman. Well, how does this scale? Non-existently? 6/11. 8/11? If I had more pump spells, I'd actually like be okay with taking Rimehorn Charger. I'm not a huge fan of Flame Fury Shaman either, but I guess. I've been scorned enough by Rimehorn Charger drawing it late game that I don't want to take it, even though I know it's probably the correct pick here. I know it's probably not a very good reason not to take it, but it's the reason I have, so I'm going to take the Flame Fury Shaman. Every time I see a killer bee, I get really excited. I get really sad. For reference, I could have had 2/3 of a Stinging Invocation in this deck, but it's not meant to be. So this is between Blizzard Shaman and Bright Tusk Sower. I love Bright Tusk Sower, but we don't actually have that many pump spells right now. We only have one, and Blizzard Shaman's really good, so. And speaking of pump spells, we'll take the Blood Boon here. We already have the Splicer, Bright Tusk Sower, and a Borean Stormweaver to help trigger it. So it works out really well. The other cards in spec are actually fine, but Blood Boon is the best one. And here, okay, so a nod towards Flame Wraith Instigator because we already have a Steam Sentinel. And I think it's enough of a nod. I like it. I like Cadra's Colossus just fine. It helps shore up your middle game. But Instigator and Sentinel actually lets you get a lot of surprise damage in. And it turns a very good defensive A6 into a threat at any point in the game. It's like the Sower here. Duskhammer. Okay. Well, if I'd known I was going to get a Duskhammer here, I still wouldn't have taken Dark Forge because Dark Forge and Outbreak is terrible. So I'll take the Flame Jet. Okay, no, there is enough. No, I might just be wrong. Duskhammer and Shroudthorn Splicer is a really good combo by itself. It is only a 2-card combo. I have no other Dark Forge, and I really don't intend to take any other Dark Forge unless I'm like throwing like 30 Duskhammers or something. But of the Dark Forge, this is definitely the best one you can get in Outbreak. And I do have the Splicer, but Flame Jet is the first removal spell we'd be getting, and I would prefer that since we have enough other cards as threats right now. I think there's merit. I just really avoid trying to go into Dark Forge because it incentivizes me to take terrible cards. Yeah, I'd rather have the removal spell. So speaking of removal spells, I'll take the Frost Shadow Strike here. Dendrify is really good, but nothing really beats Frost Shadow Strike. I do have 2 Sowers. That is a nod towards Dendrify. Not enough of a nod though. Frost Shadow Strike's insane. I'll take another Borean Stormweaver easily. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take any number of Frost Shadow Strikes that the draft is willing to give me. Okay, so here's a Grapple Vine. I have a Blood Boon and a Twin Strength right now as pump effects. So I'm not going to take it. I'll take the Instigator instead. Spark Weaver Alkali. I don't see this card very often. It is... Actually, it scales pretty well. Doesn't have scaling mobility. It's pretty bad in the defense. And I only have 2 Frost Shadow Strikes and a Flame Jet to trigger it. That's not really a critical massive type of spell that I need to actually make that worthwhile, so I'll just take the Krajasi and Stone back. Okay, if I had more pump effects, I'd still take Nargeth Bruiser over Vigorous, so that's not really much of a contention here. Do I have any plants at all? No, none. Oh, other than Splicer, but I'd be insane to actually exile that. So Torgmar Guardian probably does not get the nod over Weirwood Ranger here. I have enough 7-power creatures where I'd be comfortable taking the Weirwood Ranger over Guardian. Since I'd just be using Guardian kind of as like a bad, as if in Dire Hound, I guess is the closest example I can come up with most of the time. Okay, so pick here between a second Weirwood Ranger or Spirit Bloom Triad. Well, like Ranger more. There's a nod to, I guess with 2 Stormweavers, it doesn't really matter too much if I don't have too many 6-power creatures, since Stormweaver is effectively one. It's a more flexible one too. And yeah, I like Weirwood Ranger a bunch. Okay, so this is between Rimehorn Charger and Prowler. Rimehorn Charger actually gets a nod once I pick both of these Weirwood Rangers because the 6/9 is, with mobility, is extremely strong in rank 1. But Deep Branch Prowler does do a lot of work considering that we have 2 Frost Shadow Strikes. It's an excellent finisher, and it actually has a pretty difficult body to deal with at rank 1. You never really want to play it. You either want to play it at rank 1 or at the end game, never really in between there. But at least you want to play it late game, whereas with Rimehorn Charger, you really just kind of bank on it getting an advantage early and hoping that's enough to make up for its abysmal rank 3. Okay, there's a Mastodon. I have only 1 Ancient and 1 Stegodon, but it doesn't matter because Mastodon is excellent on its own. There's a nod towards the Dendrify in this pack. Again, I have 2 Sowers, but that's it, really, as far as creatures. I guess I have the Splicer, too, if I wanted to make a 7/7. But with 2 Frost Shatter strikes, I'm not really too concerned about dealing with large creatures. It's good enough on its own to dealing with that, and Mastodon does lead to some pretty snowbally starts if you happen to combo it with Ancients. And I still have 5 cards left in this draft, so it's not unreasonable that I get another Saltmoss Ancient. I definitely want one if I could. Okay, so speaking... Oh man, another Dusthammer? Okay, well... If hindsight was 2020, I probably still wouldn't draft Darkforge, but yes, this deck would actually be good as a Darkforge deck if, in reverse, I could pick the 2 Dusthammers, then the Darkstone Acer and the Darkroot Shambler that I could have seen before, but it's just too risky. I've honestly never even seen 2 Dusthammers in a draft in the longest time, so I can't ever really predict around getting both of those when I already have a Splicer. But since I took the Mastodon, there's no way I'm not taking the Ancient here. So it's probably... Yeah, actually, I don't have that many spells. Everplay More is fine. And so this is between Featherfang, Grapplevine, and Bloodboil. They're actually all about equal-ish. I have 4 burn spells right now. Bloodboil actually gets a lot better when you have Borean Stormweavers as well. I'm not too concerned about dealing with creatures though between the Flame Jet and the Frost Shatter strikes. So Bloodboil, I don't think it gets as much of a nod. Featherfang is a dinosaur, so I'm probably leaning to take that, even though if I had more pump spells, I even might consider Grapplevine. And I don't actually have that much mobility. I only have Kadrassian Stoneback, but it is still enough for me to think twice about taking Grapplevine just because that is definitely not a combo. Though with 2 Flame Rift Instigators, I guess it's not that big a deal. Actually, hold on. Grapplevine does deal with a lot of things. It's kind of good against Stinging Invocation, deals well against Frostfang Maiden and Borean Windweaver. I don't have too much in the way of pumps, so it's not great for that. Don't have a Torgmite Guardian, so I can't exile it. Well, I'm thinking making Featherfang into a 6/7 is probably better in the abstract. And I guess I'd rather have another Featherfang versus a second Deep Branch Prowler, so... Well, that's it for the draft. Wish me luck. See what happens.